Matthew Goode's casting in Zack Snyder's Watchmen was met with extreme criticism, which the actor did not initially take well, as evident in his first response. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Was aware of the backlash on his casting, which was evident in his shocking response that did not sit well with fans. Ozymandias was the superstar type of villain from Watchmen, and Goode not embodying the character's physical appearance was the main issue. He heard the negative feedback from his friends, and according to the British tabloid The Sun, via the playlist, the actor remarked, "If fanboys still hate the film after going and seeing it, they can all line up and suck my D.K. I don't give a f.k." He regretted saying those words as reflected in his conversation with Huffington Post, revealing he was not really sold by his own casting. "I wasn't convinced that I was the right choice to play him. And there were a couple of remarks I made in a very offhand, facetious, jokey way." Goode said he was the only one hired by Zack Snyder who didn't resemble the character, while the rest of the group was pretty much accurate, appearance and age-wise. He did spend time overthinking about that project, but he was young and carefree, so he might as well just enjoy the opportunity. Apart from admitting he should not have been cast for the part, he also discovered that the art still had Jude Law's face. He supposed the Sherlock Holmes star was meant to have the role, but he was too expensive to afford, so they settled for Goode. Still, Snyder said Goode fit the bill and did an excellent job playing Ozymandias. The filmmaker admitted it was a challenge to find an actor who was both handsome and sophisticated, although he did not think twice about hiring the Downton Abbey alum. Despite the harsh criticism, Goode had a great experience working on the set of Watchmen. The thought of many people hating his presence in the movie still lived in his mind, but he asserted that it did not affect his performance. It was Snyder's vision, after all, and the actor revealed that the director was pretty happy with how the movie turned out, and with Goode's performance too, so as a performer, he didn't think too much about the controversy. Despite criticism aimed at Zack Snyder, the film's director, it turns out he wasn't the one behind the changes to the original story in the adaptation. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. In the world of film and TV, most people tend to think of the director as the one in charge of everything. While they play a huge role, it's super important to remember that the screenwriter is also a key player in creating the project. Sometimes, the same person fills both roles, but often the director is just the director, and the writer is someone else entirely. Zack Snyder was seen as a visionary from the beginning, but when Watchmen was released, that perception kind of changed. The movie didn't resonate with the general audience, and many laid the blame on the director. However, it turns out that Snyder wasn't responsible for the issues with the production at all. He merely directed the filming and had no role in developing the plot. Famous for his director's cuts and regarded as a visionary genius by many, it's fair to say that not all of Zack Snyder's productions have lived up to that reputation. With that in mind, it's accurate to say that Snyder doesn't seem to be the same professional he once was, but it's unfair to blame him for the failure of Watchmen. The film did receive a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but that wasn't due to the director, and very few people are aware of this. The DC superhero movie was released in 2009, and to this day, if it's remembered at all, it's mainly seen as a flop within this cinematic universe. The plot is quite complex, largely because it incorporates real-life events. However, the film's biggest criticism was that it sacrificed the essence of the story for the sake of aesthetic enhancement. The comic book story was a huge success, which led to it being considered for a film adaptation. However, in the movie, the essence was lost because the segment known as Tales of the Black Freighter was removed, along with a change to the original ending, which served as the crucial link to all of Ozymandias' actions. However, important events occurred before Snyder was hired that influenced the very details that many fans disliked. An interview with the Script Apart podcast, screenwriter David Hayter revealed that the changes fans complained about weren't actually Snyder's idea, but rather came from a friend of filmmaker Darren Aronofsky. He also mentioned that adapting the story's ending would be very challenging, especially after September 11th, as he didn't believe it would be appropriate to depict images of dead bodies in Times Square. Aronofsky was initially set to direct the film but had to turn it down to complete another project. However, after learning about Hayter's idea, he shared it with a friend who was a professional physicist. The screenwriter said, "Aronofsky sent me a note saying, 'I have a friend who's a physicist who had an idea for the ending of the movie.' And it was, what if Dr. Manhattan was the agent of destruction? And that just clicked into place in my brain, and I was like, of course that's what it should be." There's only one element of supernatural magic in this story, and it's Dr. Manhattan. And Adrian has been taking his energy to create, clean energy around the world. So why couldn't he replicate it to make it look like Dr. Manhattan was destroying all these cities? But it wasn't just the fans who hated the movie version. A big name also shared the same opinion: Alan Moore. Even before the movie was released, Moore, the creator of Watchmen, was unwilling to discuss it. He had a strong stance on cinema and TV, stating that nothing good can come of almost any adaptation. Via Entertainment Weekly. There are things that we did with Watchmen that could only work in a comic, and were indeed designed to show off things that other media can't. The truth is that Moore never watched the movie, so convinced was he that the production wouldn't satisfy him. The same happened with the HBO series. After its premiere, he stated that he had disowned it and requested that no one from the production contact him again. Via GQ. Apparently, for him, Watchmen should never be adapted for film or TV, as it feeds a system that legitimizes everything he hates the most. It's almost as if he didn't even like the idea of the story being part of pop culture. Zack Snyder seemed to be a very big fan of Rick and Morty, even summoning Dan Harmon to Warner Brothers to discuss making a film. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Rick and Morty will last 100 years. This is a fact established within and outside the series. In addition to Rick constantly declaring that the show will run for many years, the creator of the show, Dan Harmon, has also made it clear that the goal for the show is to make thousands of episodes. With this already set up, one would assume that the only problem the creators and writers would now have is making special episodes and keeping the quality consistent. However, it would seem that television isn't the only medium that the scientist and his grandson want to dominate. Harmon has set up a movie in the story's future, and it has a very big-name director attached to it. Although Rick and Morty has been running strong for many years now, many fans have been hoping for some kind of film from it. Some live-action attempts have been made by fans. However, they never hit as well as the series does. With its ability to turn everything into a joke and still be able to sneak in some existential dread, it is safe to say that Dan Harmon knows what to do with the series. Thankfully, the idea of a film has also crossed his mind. At the same time, the person who could be involved with the project seems more interesting than the pitch itself. In a 2023 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Harmon revealed that he was summoned to Warner Brothers by Zack Snyder himself. While the director has been focusing on individual projects as of late, he is best known for creating classic films like Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and 300. When he is not making iconic films like these, he seems to be just like the rest of us, devotedly following the lives of Morty and Rick. Not him saying, "I get to do it," or anything like that. He was totally a super fan and was just like, "Is there any way I can help get that movie started by using my Snyderness?" Harmon revealed that Snyder summoned him not from a position of authority, but as a fan of the series himself. The director wanted to convince